All right. So in this scenario, if we were bringing a private money lender at 10%, and they were going to finance the entire entry cost of 31,780, that's going to be a monthly payment of $265 a month. Essentially, we're getting the 10% times the 31,000 capital divided by 12 months, essentially. So this payment is interest only. That the investor is going to be receiving every month, essentially for investing with us, right? So it's a great return for them without having to do a lot of the work that I'll be doing. So now, in some cases, we do have the seller may have some equity that we need to pay that over time as well. Typically, that would be some sort of monthly payment, or you can structure it into like lump sums over time. In this case, there's no seller carry payment, so that's going to be remain at zero. In this property, we're not doing the room rental, so we're not paying for any of the bills. So we're going to leave all that blank. But for the war chest, you do want to have at least $100 a month just to kind of save up for random repairs that may pop up throughout the year. So I usually at least budget $100 every month just for repairs. Sometimes it's going to be more, sometimes it's going to be zero. So you kind of break even over time. As far as the HOA, this one does carry an HOA. It's about $120 HOA. And then I have just a box for miscellaneous expenses. In this case, I'm not really sure of any other expenses. So now let's look at the calculations here, right? So we can already see that this is at 1%. So I can tell very quickly that this is not a good property, even though the monthly payment is very attractive, right? At $1,700, you really cannot get much under $2,000 nowadays here in the Arizona market or Phoenix market. So that's why at least I wanted to kind of run it through the calculator because I wanted to see if it was truly a deal, at least for me. But in this case, it's not going to be a good deal for me. So let's just go through the breakdown of the calculations here. So we have a total income of 2,200 that comes in from the table above, and then we have an expense of 2,265, which is from my expenses table, and then essentially the subtraction of those two numbers, you're going to have $35 cash flow a month. So that's not really much, right? Definitely not much to retire. Even if you kind of get the yearly cash flow, that's only about $400 a month. Once you take all that into account, which is my yearly cash flow against my total entry cost, which is the 31,780, you really get only about 1% cash on cash return. So not a good deal. Typically, you want to be in the 20% or higher in order to kind of start making it interesting for investors. So this is kind of how I run through my numbers. Again, the $1,700 payment that piqued my interest. So I kind of got more information from the wholesaler. I got some of the pictures, the property statement, the mortgage statement. Um, that way I can kind of verify the numbers as well, right? Because I didn't want to go through even opening escrow, looking at that $1,700 payment without verifying some of the numbers ahead. So once I verified those numbers, I was able to enter them here in my calculator, and then my calculator essentially said, "No, that's not that's not a good deal." So yeah, this is just a quick example on how we can run through underwriting and just under 10 minutes essentially to see if it's going to be a property that we should proceed or not proceed. I'll drop my contact information on on the comments here. But if you're ever interested in learning more, you can shoot me a DM or email or whatever your preference is. I can also provide this calculator for free if you're interested in learning more and kind of how to use a calculator. Just send me a DM and I can share this calculator for free. Additionally, if you're an investor or you have some money that is only making you about 5% on the market, like I'm able to use that money and provide at least a 10%, if not more, in order to invest in real estate. All right. Thank you.